My name is Monica Jacko and I am Head of Equality, Diversity Inclusion for Workforce here at CUH. And this is the third in our series of webinars that we've arranged this week leading up to International Women's Day on the 8th of March. And we've been arranging 3 hot topic webinars, we've called them, to discuss just some of the hot topics, the burning issues that are impacting women here at CUH. And today, the hot topic, and there's no pun intended really, is we're going to talk about supporting menopause in the workplace. And I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by colleagues Claire Connell, one of the wellbeing facilitators, Catherine Smith, who's the wellbeing programme lead, and Anna Mayhew, senior sister of the Cambridge Infusion Centre, who is also the organiser of the staff menopause support group on Facebook. All 3 are working to support women here at CUH as part of their role, to support women going through the perimenopause and menopause. And we thought it's a good opportunity for them to share their work on this issue. So after they've spoken, I'll open up the session to questions from you, for colleagues that are on the call today. We'll be recording the speakers, but we will not be recording the questions that you, as in the audience, will be asking. And this issue that we're talking about is something that is often rarely discussed in the workplace. However, in recent years, it's gained more national coverage by due to campaigners such as Davina McCall that have been talking about it and campaigning about the needs to support women going through the menopause in the workplace. We have a significant number of women, trans and non-binary employees who go through the menopause or perimenopause. They will experience physical or psychological symptoms, and 73% of our workforce are women. So, I mean, since 2019, we have had a menopause policy and guidance, and we'd run a series of talks and a menopause cafe in 2018, and we'll share the latest guidance on Merlin. But I'm really delighted to start the conversation this afternoon by calling on our guest speakers to share what is in place and the work that they've each been doing in this area to support women. So can I hand over to you, Claire, to start the conversation? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Monica. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see that. Hi everybody. As Monica has already said, I'm Claire. I'm one of the wellbeing facilitators at the Trust, and our team have been working jointly with occupational health on what I think is a really exciting and very important project to review and improve the support that we offer to our staff who are undergoing their menopause journey. And so I just want to take the opportunity today, along with Catherine and Anna, just to share the work that occupational health and we have been doing, where we're up to, but also use any remaining time to ask for more feedback, more input. You know, we really are keen to hear your views about what you would like to see and what would make a difference to you. So if there's any time for that at the end, then that would be great when, as Monica said, we'll stop sharing the screen. So I just wanted to start really by giving an introduction. I'm sure everybody who's joined today knows how important it is, and whether that's important to yourself or to your team members that you support. But women make up a really large number of our NHS workforce. Around 76% of our 1.4 million workforce are women. At CUH, it's 73%, and we know that the menopause usually occurs between the age of 45 and 55, although with premature menopause, 40 onwards. So 26.4% of our NHS workforce fall into the 45 to 55 category. At CUH, with how our numbers are collected and our data is collected, staff between 41 and 55% make up 30.4%. This isn't a quick journey, though. Symptoms can last months and years, and also can evolve and change over time. And so needs will obviously then perhaps change, but they really do impact on daily life, work, relationships. So data has shown that 1 in 10 women quit their job because of the menopause symptoms, or reducing their hours, or we're using valuable knowledge and experience because people are passing up on promotions, or indeed choosing to leave. And 1 in 3 employers. So the support that we want to provide isn't just to those who will be going through the menopause, but also the people who support them, because 1 in 3 employers don't feel well enough equipped to support women. And it's been reported that 6 out of every 10 women experiencing symptoms are saying that these symptoms are having a negative impact on their work. So hugely important, and really a critical priority. We know that having the right support can reduce the impact of those symptoms on people's health and well-being, their effectiveness at work, their relationships, and their personal life. So good menopause care is a national priority for all women, and there's recently been some really important guidelines published. So the menopause NICE guidance is actually going through a consultation and review at the moment, but also there's been a recent publication of a women's health strategy, so nationally really very important, but also an NHS priority for staff. And I've got a copy there of the document, the NHS England's supporting our staff guidance for line managers and colleagues. So we have a duty of care also under the Equality Act, and just, let's face it, it's the right thing to do. So in terms of what my colleagues and I have been looking at, so the aim of the project really is to review our current provision, and then establish an enhanced range of support offers for staff undergoing the menopause. So we have got a journey of work to do. We've done some things. There are things that we will continue to do. But overall, what we hope to achieve through this work and project is that staff feel more supported and valued in the workplace. People are empowered and better able to manage their symptoms inside and outside of work. To create a culture where the menopause can be openly discussed, and so that managers have a greater understanding of how to support their colleagues. So we really want to create a menopause-friendly workplace. So on to progress, which falls under these categories. So I'm going to go through each of them in turn, and then Anna and Catherine will chip in. Let's start with engagement. So one of the first things we've done is try to understand what our staff want. So we advertised a focus group and put a shout out in the bulletin for people to give us their thoughts, either via email or to join a focus group, which we undertook back in November to open the conversation. And this really sort of provides an overview of some of the themes that came out really. So people who came along or who emailed afterwards said that they really would like to see greater peer support. So we do have access to menopause cafes, which are supported by the Cambridge Biomedical campus. That does mean that locations will rotate, and also it's not just CUH staff specific, but all staff are welcome to attend through the campus. So part of the discussion was people expressing an interest to have greater support offers, perhaps more locally, and whether or not we run CUH specific cafes or have a peer support group. But there really was a lot of interest in establishing a women's network, which I know Monica and your team are currently looking at. So perhaps at the end you could, give us some thoughts around that, and perhaps one of the options is that we don't have a specific menopause network, we have a women's network, but actually a peer support group feeds into that. So I'd be really interested to hear people's views and thoughts on that, and how you would like to see peer support evolve. What does that look like to you? So there was lots of support and thoughts around improved access to training, people wanting to feel comfortable to talk about their symptoms with their line manager, but perhaps the line managers understanding a little bit more about how those symptoms impact on their work, so and what support there is available that the line manager can access for their team members. So as I mentioned, hopefully there will be some greater education and support coming. Actually, I haven't mentioned that, I'll mention it in a bit. So improved support for people experiencing symptoms, and the suggestions there range for greater information, links to information, reasonable adjustments, and there was a big discussion around uniform and having some flexibility with regards to uniform. And finally, one of the some of the comments were, for those staff who have other long-term health conditions, the menopause can impact them in different ways. So that needed to be taken into consideration from the trust and also the managers with regards to flexibility of work and the support and the adjustments that are perhaps made for them. That's, as I said, it provides just a little bit of an overview, and the discussions are still ongoing, and I would just like to encourage anybody. I've put our wellbeing email at the end of this presentation, so if anybody would like to send us their thoughts about support or any feedback for development, I'm so sorry, it's my phone going, please do that as well. Also on the subject of engagement, so I'm part of NHS England's Menopause Specialist Interest Group, which is a really good opportunity to find out from other areas what's going on, to bring those thoughts and ideas back to the Trust. And also Catherine, who's our wellbeing programme lead, is part of the Cambridge and Peterborough ICS menopause focus group. So I would just like to hand over to Catherine, perhaps, who could just chip in and explain what's been going on there locally as well.
Thanks, Claire. So as Claire mentioned, I'm a member of the Cambridge Peterborough ICS group, who have created a special menopause focus group so that we can work across the system to look at ways in which we can support staff, and to also to come together to look at accreditation as a menopause friendly employer, but also to look at training as well. So we are looking to hold across the system a webinar for all staff to attend. I have the date of the 26th of April, but not the time as yet. So as soon as I have that, I will share that with everybody. And we are looking at developing some training which we will roll out starting from the summer once we have our trainers trained, and that will look at supporting line managers and staff and giving them the skills to have the conversations and where they can find support and things like that. We're equally working across the region as well to try and learn from best practice that's out there among other NHS trusts and beyond. So really trying to pull all the ideas to see that we can pull the best offer of support for staff at CUH.
Thank you. Right. Just shows what a priority it is, nationally and locally. Thank you. So just moving on to policies and local guidance. So the current guidance is dated 2022, and Sophie, Arthur, one of the HR managers, has been leading on the review of our guidelines. So the update has been completed, and we'll have many new additions, which is fantastic, including a checklist for staff to use with their managers to aid discussions around what support they need, and also a risk assessment too. The guideline developments have been undertaken with staff and trade unions, and is pending some final reviews, Sophie tells me, before it can be ratified, but is hopefully going to be published in the next couple of months, which is good. There will also be linkages with and links to some wider work that Catherine's been working on with regards to the involvement of the Purple Passport Health and Wellbeing Passport. So there'll be reference to the menopause there, and links into with that support system and offer too. So education and training. So currently available on DOT is a 30-minute menopause awareness session. So that basically provides an overview of the menopause, common symptoms associated with it, and scenarios which hopefully will give people a better understanding in how they can support themselves and each other. So that, as I say, is available on DOT. And as Catherine also mentioned, we hope to be able to roll out within CUH some line manager specific training later this year. So that's coming. So in terms of the support that we offer, as I mentioned, there's currently access to the menopause cafes run by the Cambridge Biomedical Campus, but we would like to see that and some perhaps peer support groups evolving, and that would be fantastic if we could get more thoughts and inputs to what that looks like, and hopefully that will link into the wider work being done about a women's network from Monica's team. There is currently a menopause dedicated page on Connect. We absolutely get the fact that it does need updating, and that is part of our plan as well. There's the fantastic workplace adjustment service operated by Occupational Health, so definitely worth, if you need support, to look on there or to contact the team. We also have our employee assistance programme, Health Assured, who offer a number of resources, but also a more recent development is a CBT group for menopause. So to be able to access that, you would need to go to the Health Assured website. And if you go to supporting our staff Connect page, then you can find out how to get a password to access that Health Assured information. I did see Caroline Porter from Occupational Health on. So Caroline, if I've said anything wrong there in terms of accessing that, please do pop it in the chat. That would be fantastic. And we also have our closed menopause focused CUH Facebook group to provide support. So I will hand over now to Anna, who set up the page, just to speak about that.
Thank you, Claire. Yeah, hi. I set up this, tried to start setting up this Facebook page probably about 3 years ago, because I was just mindful of the fact that I was talking quite a lot about my menopause journey, and was just quite aware that it was important to share information with staff and to be able to support others. So we have the Facebook page up and running. So it's called, I can't share my screen, I'm not clever enough, the CUH Menopause and Perimenopause Support Group. So as Claire said, it's a closed group. So we ensure that people provide their NHS email when they join, so that we can see that they are a member of CUH staff. And the group is just there for whatever people want to share on there. A lot of it is about sharing local resources, because obviously we live in, you know, lots of different areas locally. Some of us commute quite far. So any initiatives that we find out that are happening in local areas, such as Newmarket have a monthly menopause meeting as part of the library service, menopause yoga workshops. People also talk about HRT supply issues, which is obviously a big topic, and also just side effects, symptoms, anything. So it's hopefully feels like a safe space to be able to just talk about anything to do with the menopause or perimenopause.
Thank you, Anna. So if you have any feedback, it's all welcome. I shall pop my email and the wellbeing email into the chat for people. But that's, let me come up here. Stop sharing. There you go. So I'll sort of hand back to Monica, but you know, is there anything burning anyone wants to ask? Is there so any questions, any thoughts, anything else we haven't mentioned that you'd like